positions. Trust yourself. Create one for yourself. You have seen the truth. Time will show. Time to show the world. Focus, focus, focus. Ascension. And then look, silent thieves. Who are the thieves? They're the ones that are stealing our securities. Why are they manipulating you to pad their pockets? Why are they stealing your wealth? Because we don't stand up against them. You know, we don't, if we don't stand up against them, then they just continue to do their fuckery, right? So they're in their narrative, their false narrative little bubble, right? So it's almost like you have to, like, for me, you have to get out of that bubble, that narrative. Crash, steal, lie, repeat, right? So they crash the market, or they crash into you with these fraudulent predatory contracts. They steal from you, they lie to you and gaslight the hell out of you. Repeat. So monetary manipulation, absolutely, because they're double dipping. Dip here, dip here. They dip into your Sestake trust, they dip into your bank account. Monetary manipulation, taxation without representation. Look into that. Put an end to the endless. It's ridiculous. And then it is, you know why it's endless? Is because they're monetizing it with our securities. They're monetizing it. So everybody that goes, so think about it. If you're a soldier, right, you're getting paid a particular amount each, let's say month, let's say it's a salary, you're getting paid, right? Well, on the other side of that, they are taking out of your trust, right? There's two sides to the ledger. So you're seeing the public side. This is what you see. And then over here is the private side. So that's why it's silent thieves, because we don't know about this private side. So, but I'm just checking, because a lot of times, like, these numbers, this is Q. Obviously, I follow the Q boards, but they tell you without telling you. So it's almost like they give you a little bit of things to think about, like $1 billion, who benefits? Like that kind of stuff. And it makes you jump down the rabbit hole to figure out, like, who, or what, or anything like that. So even today, what controls the poll books, database, elections? It just, I don't know, it throws me down a damn rabbit hole. Are you ready to serve your country again? Remember your oath. So here's another thing that I thought of. If we are under wartime right now, wouldn't that mean that we're actually, since we're an employee, right? Think about all the way back to the birth certificate. If we are an employee of the U.S. government, let me start that thought all over. If we, from the birth certificate, are an employee, right? And now we're in wartime, doesn't that then make us also a military person? I don't know. I do question that. Just because of, wait, if we're supposed to go back and do all the W-2s, the 4s, all that kind of stuff, because they're considering us an employee of the United States, the government that has the EIN, the government that has the Duns and Brad, right? Like, just let's say that you went and worked for Home Depot, they're going to have you fill out paperwork, W-2, W-4, all the things, right? Put your social, all the things. Well, that's essentially what the government did to us when we were born. So we were already put into their system. So you already worked for Home Depot the minute that you came out. They they did their side of the fuckery, and then now you're an employee. So my thought is if you're an employee and then the United States is under wartime, then wouldn't an employee go to military now? Like, I don't know. Let me know what you think in the chats. Yeah, are you ready to hold the political elite accountable? Yes, please. Sick of popping popcorn. Here's the last one. Fact checkers. Yep, the battle to prevent truth. Yep, because the propaganda. If we start to know the truth and we stand up and even stand up for our rights, they don't like that. That's why, look, I'm on my third account, so on TikTok. So it's a battle, right? We get a couple steps ahead and then they push us back. We get a couple steps ahead, they push us back. And divided, we're not strong at all. So what do? They couple steps forward, they push us back. They trigger us with something in the media. You know, white cop kills black guy, and then now everybody's pissed off at each other again. You know, so they're doing a lot of this intentionally, but then they're also doing a lot of it's fake. You know, so I remove myself completely from it. But divided, you fight each other. Yep, divided, you pose no threat, right? Because we're all divided. We're all in our little huddles. The white people are over here, the Asians are over here, the Mexicans are over here, you know, the blacks are over here, all that kind of stuff. And then we start to like protect our own little tribes, right? Well, we aren't strong if we don't all come together. So it's almost like collectively we are one tribe. But because they get us in our emotions or they trigger us from, you know, things that we've experienced, then it divides us. Sorry, I got cut off. System of control. It is. It's information warfare. And they're fucking with your mind. And that's why I keep saying go back to heal your mind. Okay? Like really heal all of it. Like do the shadow work, do the, you know, past traumas, everything. Everything has to be like poured out to get refilled with the good stuff, because you don't want to take on in this next timeline, you don't want to take on that old like bullshit. If America falls, the world falls, patriots are stronger. Yeah, we're supposed to hold the line. Hold on, Bessie. Please fix the bread and tidy up the ship. Okay, so when it comes to something like this is what would throw me down a rabbit hole. Okay, please fix the bread. I don't know what that is, so that would throw me down a rabbit hole, and tidy up the ship. The ship, okay, because we're under maritime. And actually, I honestly think that we're not under maritime anymore. I have about a 50% in my head that we're under common law at this point. Corruption at the highest level. Yes, it is. And that's where I think Trump is starting to, well, not starting, shit, he's been, but he's exposing, you know. But now when we get on the grassroots, then we have to, you know, blow the whistle, expose all the things. So I hope you guys have a good day today, though. This morning was rainy. We had like a, you know, like an hour shower, I call it, in Florida. Yeah, I love this board. This is where I'm at. I love swear in. It just kind of keeps everybody, look, see the black robe? Demonic ritual. If you were to have to think of like Luciferian people walking in a circle, and they have robes and cloaks, and actually the judges used to wear, remember those like wigs, the white wigs? It's like these men would wear a wig. That's because they're hiding themselves from God. They're camouflaging themselves, covering themselves so that God can't see what they're doing. Isn't that shitty? It's trash. So, yomp. Dearest Virginia, we stand with you. Not up.
Additionally, say this bottle cap is now yours. Now what happens is now it's your responsibility to accept that bottle cap, right? So the transaction isn't completed until you accept it. Definition of acceptance when it comes to negotiable instruments and finances is delivery.
So if I accept delivery on it.
If you accept good. So if you accept delivery, then that's now a completed transaction, right? Now, let's say I offer you this negotiable instrument and you say, no, I don't accept Federal Reserve notes. Now, on the statutory side, you actually can't do that. That's the funny part. So if you say no to this, and I say no problem, and I put it back in my pocket, in law, I just paid you $20, even though you didn't accept it. So when you send in a promissory note to pay off a mortgage, they're going to say, we don't accept that kind of payment. which is literally the most illegal and insane thing. You could start putting people in prison for 25 years left and right. The funny thing about it is, as soon as you get that letter back that says we don't accept this kind of payment, that's all you need. You just got all the evidence that you need. It's now paid off. Because they can't, UCC 3-603 subsection B states that if you deny me attempting to perform on the contract, then whatever amount that I attempted to give you in order to perform in that contract discharges off of the debt. So if I let's say I tried to give you a promissory note for $287,000.
Yeah.
If you reject that as a payment we don't accept, that's all the evidence I need in court. Now $287,000 must come off of my bill.
And why is that? That's so just maddening. I can't wrap my head around.
Because that's just how it is. Because in 1933 it took away all the gold and silver, and they made it impossible for us to actually pay anything with money, and that's when the whole negotiable instrument system took over everything. And the thing is that the definition of the word credit in law is the right to defer payment to a later date. So the government, in exchange for taking away all the gold and silver coins, gave us infinite credit. So every single ens legis, or public corporation, has infinite ability to defer payment to a later date. No different than this. What's the payment date on this negotiable instrument? Who knows? Force them to sign for the parcel. Once they sign for it, it's delivered. They accepted it.
All right, so with the
I think
mortgage,
it's crazy because if you overpay, they have to refund the money. So it gets even crazier. You can actually overpay with a promissory note.
oh wow.
So this gets. I mean,
All right, so give me an example of a mortgage where this is borne out like this that you've worked on.
well, we're working on my first mortgage. We're working on right now. We've done tons of free cars.
Okay.
We've done
Cars.
Cars. We've done like probably 70 or 80 cars easily. But mortgages, like the mortgage companies and stuff, like they don't want anybody. They're not going to go down without like
Yeah.
a fight to the death. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like unsecured is really easy. What are they going to do? Student loans? So what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Damn.
What are you going to do? Come after me?
Because there's no asset attached.
There's something attached to it, right? Now, what's crazy is that the original application, this gets pretty fascinating. The original application that you sign, as far as the Federal Reserve is concerned, is called a collateral security. So why in the F is your house collateral?
I put this outfit together without even